We're looking at the season because guess what? It's just about here. How many losses does Georgia suffer in the first half of the season? We answer that next. Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked on Bulldogs podcast. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. More on them at FanDuel.com. We'll give you more on FanDuel in a moment. We love them. We're Locked on Bulldogs. We're your team every day, for fans, by fans. He's Clint. I'm Daniel. The convalescence is the banter. It is the 199. It is everything that is right, because the season is right around the corner. Clint, we are right. That he's got the hat on. We are ready to go. Clint and I, by the way, can't not own the same dang hat. I don't know what we're gonna do when we get out to the game. Like we got to get some diversity in the wardrobe, my man. Like
no one has ever mistaken you and I, Daniel.
Well,
okay,
that's true. That is true. Listen, thanks for being here. Thanks for being an everydayer. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for being a part of the 199, a loyal third segment listener. We are happy to have you. And we're going to jump into the schedule. So this is going to be a 3-part preview of the Georgia schedule. Let me explain to you how we're going to do it, and then we will get off and running. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go game by game in order of games, and we're going to break down 3 games per episode. Now, we are not going to touch on all of the games on Georgia's schedule. And I think you could probably guess which 3 games we are not going to touch on. But in case you are wondering, we are not going to talk about Marshall. We are not going to talk about Austin Peay. And we are not going to talk about Charlotte. Not that we are not excited about those games. We will have plenty to say about those games. And spoiler alert, we won't just be excited. We'll also be nervous about things in those games.
Oh, interesting.
And there will be things that you shouldn't sleep on in those games. And we will talk about all of that as the week approaches. But for this season preview, we're going to keep it to the conference games plus Georgia Tech. So the remaining 9 games on the schedule, we're going to go 3 games at a time, 1 game per segment, which means, Clint, we need to stop wasting time because we are getting right into the dadgum Tennessee Volunteers. That is the first game of consequence on the schedule. It is in week 3. It is our first SEC game. It is our first road game. It is in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium, which I believe is still being played in a mud pit. I don't know if they've grown grass yet in the stadium, but it's an abomination. They water the lawn with mustard and golf balls, and so I don't know why they would expect anything less than a deplorable surface on which to play. But Georgia's going to square up against Tennessee. I think right off the jump, I will say this is Georgia's biggest chance to lose a football game this season, and I am not making any equivocations about it. I mean, not SEC championship, college football playoff, regular season.
We hear what you mean.
This is the biggest chance for Georgia to lose a game this regular season. Do you disagree with me on that point?
I think I'm going to give a caveat.
Okay. So you at least disagree with how emphatically I'm making the point.
I think your finality with it, I think I can't get behind the finality and the definitiveness by which you say that.
Okay.
I think there's a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean so many question marks about this Tennessee Volunteer team, Daniel. Quarterback is probably the worst quarterback in the SEC. And I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah.
I think they lost a bunch of talent last year, Daniel. I think even with a better quarterback and a more talented roster, they still underachieved. But with that being said, I think they're still going to have a stout defense, a stout run game, and they're at home early in the season. For those reasons, This is a losable game. If you're saying to yourself, no, it's Tennessee, Heupel, Kirby has Heupel, just absolute number. He can't do anything on him. I beg you to stop that. Don't say that. That's the wrong way of looking at it. I can't say it as emphatically as you do, though, Daniel. To me, this is more like give me a percentage. What percentage do you think we have to lose this game? Chance to lose this game?
Over 50%.
You're telling me just straight up, simulate this game 100 times.
Yep.
5% of the time we lose this game.
Losing more than half of them. Yep. Maybe 51%. I don't know, but it's over 50%. I'll tell you that. Okay, let's dive in a little bit.
Great.
Here's the thing. I do have questions about Tennessee at quarterback and on offense, particularly at the skill positions. I have questions at quarterback. I have questions. I don't know how you could not have questions at quarterback. They took a reject at quarterback. Like, let me be clear. That was not the first name on the list when Nico left.
No,
it was not like a let's go swapsies on quarterbacks when Nico left. They looked at and shook the trees on a lot of other quarterbacks, and they did not get any of them. Now, that was a tough situation for Tennessee, for Josh Heupel, for the administration, all of that. The quarterback that they ended up with, I don't think anybody thinks is really going to be that good. It's all going to rest on Josh Heupel and his ability to create dynamic, explosive offense. The problem is, I don't know that he has it in the skill positions. But Clint, I don't know if Georgia's going to be able to score points in this game. This is the reason that I'm 51% that Georgia's going to lose in this game, because you're talking about Gunnar Stockton and a bunch of new wideouts and a new offensive line who's just played Marshall and Austin Peay and absolutely had their way at home in Sanford Stadium, not been tested at all to this point in the season, going into a hostile environment against one of the best defenses, I think, this year in the SEC, in the Tennessee Volunteers. This is a really good defensive football team. So is our defense going to be ready and up to the challenge? I hope so. Heupel's going to have some wrinkles, and he's going to have some trick plays, and he's going to have some stuff in there, some eye candy and some all of his, he's going to have his stuff. The secondary is going to have to be on point. A young secondary against Josh Heupel makes me a little nervous. So that's point one on offense. But the bigger issue, Clint, is I'm nervous about Georgia's ability to score points in this game.
The best players on Tennessee, without a shadow of a doubt and unequivocally, are all on the defensive side of the ball. If you gave me the 5 best players on Tennessee, 3 at minimum, maybe 4 are on the defensive side of the ball.
Probably 4.
Okay. Like Jeremiah McCoy at corner is incredible. It really, really is. Carter at linebacker is also incredible. Both Carters. But one is in the defensive back room. Boo Carter, by the way.
Oh, that's a story, Clint.
That's a story.
It's a whole segment for another episode. It's a story.
Boo Carter is missing team activities, had to be confronted by team leaders because he is not currently.
Did you read the quote from his agent? I can't. We can't get into it now.
I did. It was phenomenal. But I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Every level, Tennessee has studs on defense. Like legitimately, Daniel's right. Think of every Kentucky game that we've played the last 3 years. That could be another Tennessee game, Daniel.
But that's not a Kentucky offense. I don't care who their quarterback is. I don't care who their wide receivers are. Like so a Kentucky style game, but you can throw the football is interesting for a Georgia fan. First start on the road. It's all of the pieces. I'm nervous as all get out.
I asked you, you said 51%. I'm giving it 38%. 38% chance we lose this game, Daniel. Which still pretty high. We're going to come back and talk about another game that is going to have us feeling the bubble guts right after these. These are, in fact, FanDuel. FanDuel.com, summer sports full swing. Whether you're at a baseball game, golf on the green, high stakes soccer action. FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. For all the action already, why not just get into it with FanDuel? Bet on the game, get your friends in on it. Don't be like those idiots who are just wasting away with White Claws on the beach. Is White Claw still a thing? Are people still drinking that? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Whether
People
I'm
make bad choices every day, Clint.
Whether I'm placing a same game parlay or watching a bet right in the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers have to bet just $5. Get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
How the Braves doing, Clint? Speaking of baseball, summer sports are in full swing.
If you think the Braves should trade Ronald Acuna Jr.,
okay, he does have a take. Here we go.
Please remove yourself from all sports fandom and never come back.
If you are talking about the Braves,
well,
same conclusion.
If you are trying to interview for an executive producer role, and your first line is, have you seen what the Braves have been doing?
That's need not apply. You need not apply. All right, we're moving on. Game 2. Obviously, it's not game 2. It's game 4. But game 2, Georgia will be coming off a bye week in between Tennessee and Alabama. And that is advantageous because Tennessee and Alabama in back-to-back weeks would be tough. But Georgia gets the bye. They come back home. And they match up against Kalen DeBoer and Alabama. This is a game we've talked about before, Clint. But I'm going to give you first shot out of the gate on this one. What are your preliminary thoughts on Georgia-Alabama September 27th?
I have a weird thought about this game.
I love it.
And my weird thought is Kalen DeBoer is more excited. I think Alabama is a very, very good team this year, just so we're fully prepared. I anticipate them being in the SEC championship game. So there's that.
Oh, boy.
Kalen DeBoer is very excited. Alabama is very excited because they have now his offensive coordinator in there. They have his quarterback that he wants. It's all the same thing. They're ready to go. Here's my problem with it. And specifically with Georgia and how Kirby Smart plays his style of defense against teams like Alabama. The things that have terrified us of Alabama in the past has been the Milroe type quarterbacks. Daniel, has been the offenses that for the first quarter of the game in Tuscaloosa, we couldn't stop them from getting 8 to 15 yards per play.
Yeah.
That offense is no longer. That offense is gone. Can they try to resurrect some of that? I don't think. Maybe the freshmen, if they have the freshmen in there the whole time, I think he can do similar-esque things to Milroe over time. But if you're telling me Kalen DeBoer is going to change his system to something he's more familiar with, it's something that Kirby is better suited to play against. And now I look at that team, Alabama, I say, if you're going to try, it's kind of like Kentucky in that same vein. If you're going to try to out Kirby, it's not going to go well for you. And we have the defense this time to go with it, up the middle specifically, linebackers specifically. Offense is going to be interesting, but I think you can talk about overtime. You can talk about a couple of guys on the defensive side of the ball. I think you had a more talented defense last year, truth be told. And I'm not no lie about that. You didn't perform very well, but I think you had more talent. The offense seems to be better this year for Alabama, but I don't know if that's going to play into it. To me, I'm feeling more confident about this game than I am, say, the Texas game later on, than I am saying even about Tennessee on the road, because I think Kalen DeBoer is playing into Kirby's hand a little bit. Daniel, is Kalen DeBoer a better offensive guy than Steve Sarkisian? He's not. Texas had a better opportunity to beat Kirby with the system that they had. Alabama presented us with very, very difficult tasks. And so I feel oddly confident about us versus their offense, Daniel. That's my first feel on this game. Am I way off base on that?
No, I don't think so. And interestingly enough, I mean, you say, I think to me, the Alabama offense is a big question mark. You say you think the Alabama offense is projected to be better this year than they were last year. I don't disagree that Jalen Milroe was pretty disappointing and kind of disappeared at times last year. But are they really going to be trotting a freshman out there?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, of course they're not. Ty Simpson's going to be the guy.
Yeah, so if Ty Simpson's the guy, we really think he's that good? Do we really think he's that good? Like, I just call me crazy.
Okay.
But what if he's not that good? Like, plenty of quarterbacks haven't been that good. So, I'll say this. I know that Alabama's offense was disappointing at times last year, and the offense might get better this year. I can guarantee you the Alabama offense this year won't be better than the Alabama offense in the first quarter last year versus UGA.
Nope.
No offense in the history of college football could be better than that offense. And we did them a lot of favors, by the way, because we were soft last year on defense. You mentioned it. I think our defensive improvements are the thing that give me the most excitement about this game. I think the fact that it's at home is the second thing that gets me the most excited about this game. Clint, I think Georgia is going to win this game, but I'm more nervous about it than I am about Texas. I'll say that. I will say I'm in a different order. So we got a bit of a different, pecking order here in terms of games. I think this is probably regular season wise Georgia's second best chance to lose, which means
we could be entering the second month of the season.
Losses are on the table. I have said this before. Georgia might be 2-2 and then go to the SEC championship game and make the college football playoff. They might be 2-2 heading into October and still make the college football playoff. I think that's a very real possibility.
Alabama and Texas are the most hyped teams this offseason. And if you don't go look at the All-SEC squads, go look at everything like that.
Yeah.
They have a number of Alabama players. I don't think Alabama is that. They had a purge of talent from the roster. Now they have an influx. I'm not saying there's no talent in Tuscaloosa. That's not what I am saying is there was a purge of talent. There's yet to be proven guys on that. Kalen Moore had the most talented squad in all of college football and couldn't do anything with it. And was vanilla and was put into coached into a locker by Venables. Brent Venables outcoached you. That's shocking.
I mean, is it crazy to be like, I kind of feel like Alabama's entire offense is Ryan Williams. Like
and that's what Alabama will say. We have the best wide receiver in the nation. You do.
You don't. You don't.
They do, Daniel.
No way is he better than that kid at Ohio State. There's no way. He's not. He's not.
I've seen the kid pull rabbits out of hats on the field. It's freaking.
He beat the heck out of Georgia, but he's not better than that kid at Ohio State.
I don't care about a wide receiver who's all world. I don't. Because if Georgia didn't give up the first quarter by Alabama running the ball, Ryan Williams gets 14 points on us. Okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're fine. So, no.
It is a road game for Alabama, but they do open the season on the road against Florida State, a game that I think they're going to win because of Florida State. But it will, it's week 1 at Florida State. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. And so that's not, that will serve Alabama coming into this game. Whereas we talked about Gunnar Stockton making his first start on the road. This will not be Ty Simpson's first start on the road in Athens, but I still like Georgia in this game. We got one more game we're going to cover, but first, these.
One more game to preview for this segment, Daniel. We're breaking this up to 9 games. This is 3 of the 9 as we go on early season prediction. We've given you that Tennessee is going to be a tough one. We don't know how many points are going to, you know what? Take the under on that game. If I'm an early betting line, take the under on that game. Alabama, you and I both feel good about our defense's success against their offense, even with Grubbs and with Ty Simpson coming in for Alabama. The third game, Daniel, it's kind of oddly exciting, if I could be honest.
Oh. Well, it was my turn to give a first take, but
no,
I'll tell you, that's more than I'm going to be able to give you here, because to me, not the matchup versus Georgia, because there's been great matchups. Georgia, Kentucky has been an interesting matchup. Last year, obviously, we had the 2 transfers, and that made it very interesting. The Georgia, Kentucky game, very interesting because you had Pop and you had, Brock Vandelay Industries over there. And so this year, and I think coming off of Tennessee and Alabama, this to me is one of the bigger, exhale, letdown, boring vanilla games on the schedule. Mark Stoops, the fact that he's been able to parlay 0 success into what's he been in Kentucky now for 28 years? I don't know.
I think he's the second longest tenured SEC coach.
It's wild to me.
It is
that this man is still continuing to be allowed to do what he does.
He's a publicly employed person,
making good money.
One of the richest incomes in Kentucky.
I have absolutely 0 excitement in thinking about the Kentucky Wildcats, and I think Georgia's going to either mess around because they're coming off a huge letdown from either a big win over Alabama or a loss over Alabama, a big win over Tennessee or a loss at Tennessee. Either they're coming off a big letdown and they're going to come out flat as flat can be. And this is going to be a 4-quarter game that we hate. Or Georgia's going to kick the crap out of Kentucky. I do not think that you're going to have a game where Georgia is evenly matched and playing a conservative game plan, like the classic Georgia-Kentucky game. I think either we're going to be flat and awful or we're going to win by 32.
Here's why it's exciting to me, Daniel.
Okay.
It's exciting to me. And Georgia fan, you should get excited for this because I'm going to tell you what Kentucky is every single year, okay? Every single year, it is a phone booth fight in which running, grounding, and pounding and absolutely bludgeoning each other wins the game. Daniel, what has Kirby said his main goal this entire year has been? Stopping the run and running the ball.
Getting rid of Carson Beck. Oh, sorry.
Well, no.
Sorry.
That moron did it himself, which is the most. Sometimes in life, you have to go to somebody and you have to be very direct and be like, hey, look, it's not working out. And other times,
it's not me, it's you.
And other times, the idiot decides to leave the company and thinks he's getting a leg up on it. And you're like, we were a week away from firing that guy.
Yeah. Now we don't have to pay him severance.
We don't got to pay him severance?
No. Miami's paying him the severance.
Miami's paying the severance. Good on you, Carson. This is exciting, Daniel, because Alabama, Tennessee's going to be a slugfest in a very similar way. I think we come out on top. Alabama could get that. It's going to be an exciting game. It's going to be back and forth, I think, for a little bit. But Kentucky is the game that we can go ahead and flex a little bit. Talk about letdown. I think 12 passes from Gunnar Stockton. I think 12 attempts.
Maybe.
Because and our running game and stopping the run is going to be accentuated. I'm excited because this is our opportunity to say, if we did this is our floor. Kentucky is our floor. Where if we play this way, we get right, we stop the run, we run the ball. Okay, let's go. It's the reason we lost against Notre Dame, Daniel. Well, besides the drops, kick return, and the sack. I get that. But also because we couldn't stop the run, we couldn't run the ball. Okay?
Yeah.
For the majority of the game. There was 3 particular plays that really, really accentuated. But have we gotten rid of that ghost? Have we gotten rid of that monkey off our back? where we've declared, nope. Years prior as a slugfest, it's not a slugfest because all of a sudden Nate Frazier's breaking off 60-yard runs. This is the first time we went to Kroger with a fully fledged running attack. Ben Cleveland in there when we were just road grading people. And it was from the second quarter on, you and I were sipping on drinks just fine. That's why
I hope it's that. I hope it's that. I'm telling you, Kirby's a master motivator.
He is.
Kirby's going to be playing the Mark Stoops always has a very physical football team card. You guys don't know what it's like in the trenches in the SEC, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be very hard to motivate this team to get up for Kentucky. Kentucky might be the worst team in the SEC, Clint. Like that, they legitimately might be the worst team.
Mississippi State?
But we play them on the road.
Remember last year? Good God.
I do remember it. I do remember it. Thank you for asking.
That was a rhetorical question, Daniel. That
was my least favorite overreaction show that we recorded.
No, that was not.
No it wasn't. Let me stop myself right there. It absolutely was not. It's going to be hard to get up for Kentucky, but and so that's what I think is interesting about this game. I legitimately do think it might be, you don't see Georgia come out flat and lay an egg against inferior opponents all that often. But I think you could see it. You could legitimately see it in this game. Yeah. And I think, we're both confident in Georgia this year, both high on Georgia. I don't think either of us think that Georgia's got a sleepwalk off the bus and just steamroll somebody type of team. Like, we're not that good.
No, Georgia's let me jump. No team in college football is that good this year.
Yeah, there have been those teams in the past.
There have been.
But we're not that.
No.
And so Georgia's going to have to be on their game. They're going to have to continue to improve throughout the season. If they are 2-2, let's say hypothetically in this game, this is going to be we'll see what this team is made of type of game. Yeah. In many ways, this could be as much of a barometer because let me tell you this, if Georgia's 4-0 going into this game, it's going to be a let's see what we're made of type of game.
Absolutely.
Because if Georgia just gets off that bus thinking we're 4-0 and we just beat two of the best teams in college football the previous 2 weeks, and now we're just going to roll over Kentucky, you're going to learn a lot about this team. Or is this a team that's going to put the hammer down and put a team away and be dominant up front in the trenches where they absolutely should be dominant up front in the trenches? I mean, that's the Kentucky game last year. You know, the defense.
It should have told Daniel, that Kentucky game, talk about a barometer. That should have told us everything that we were looking forward to in the playoff. We should have known from Kentucky last year that Notre Dame was going to. You know what?
When they just turned around and handed the ball, Brock Vandagriff threw the ball 3 times. And they turned around and handed the ball off, and that guy just got 8, 7, 8.
He weighed 162 pounds, I swear.
I watched him fall forward all afternoon long. Soft, Clint, is the word.
This year, Daniel.
I hope and pray.
He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll see you guys next week. More previews, more information, more news. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.